Today on the MrMaple Show podcast, Matt counts down his top 25 Japanese maples.
Konnichiwa, y'all, and welcome to the MrMaple Show. Today we're talking all about me. I'm kind of
It's all
feeling
about
weird.
Matt today, but this is good. This is
My
actually
ego's going to my head now.
but this has actually been requested, and this I find really fun because we did one with Tim, and we actually did 2 episodes with Tim.
Oh, geez.
He had
See, I thought mine was bad.
He had a lot to say, but he was also changing his a lot while we were doing it. And then we did one with Brian. So this is fun because I see and I've heard several employees that will come up to you and ask you over time, hey, Matt, where do you rank this and stuff like this? So we're kind of putting you on the spot to kind of put together a ranking. But as we all know, these things change.
All right, first, before we get into it, we've got to throw in my new bio clip right here.
We're going to go to Mr. Maple.
Yeah.
Mr. Maple is the king of Japanese maples.
Yes.
I have an Ed Wood 2, and I have an Orangiola.
Ooh,
and I've got
wow,
a
look
white.
at
But this guy makes specialty Japanese maples. He's got the weirdest of the weird, the best of the best. If you want to be a total
This
weirdo
is
like we're
sick.
talking about, this guy is like, maple tree! He's like the question mark.
It's like I think you should leave sketch.
This is the dude, MrMaple.com. You can buy saplings for $45.
Oh, the question mark suit guy.
Yeah.
I just got that.
But the puzzle piece is strong. And
Was that a finance guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You can get $1,000 from the government to write a book. Yeah, that's him for maple trees.
That is just
So now that we've established that I have a special stigmatism for Japanese maples, also they did call me the king of maples. That was a good compliment. I'll
That's
take
right.
it. So the king of maples, top 25. I'm giving you a little extra than Tim. Tim might have took 2 episodes. He only did 20. You know, should have went first.
Right.
To be fair, I didn't watch his. But I'm going 25. I'm upping into the game a little bit. I've got 25 of my favorites here today.
So before we jump right into that list, I talked with Brian and I talked with Tim a little bit about their background with Japanese maples. So, talking with Tim, he talked about your grandmother and your dad. Was this business that you went into always something that you knew you wanted to do with that history, or is this something that developed later?
I mean, certainly, this is something we did our whole lives. But if you asked me when I was 13, when I was in the backyard potting up seedlings with Dad, if I was going to do this for a living, I'd have laughed in your face. That was the last thing in my mind. I went to college. I got degrees in political science and history, which are great for crossword puzzles. But what I do now, so no, I didn't always know I was going to do this. I always did it. But it was somewhere around 2008 that I was like, what if I did just this? So it took me a while to find this path. I mean, a lot of times you kind of get put on a different course, and some of our we talked about this before in one of the podcasts where we interviewed Tim and I, but some of our greatest failures are some of our greatest successes. So, I got laid off from a bank in 2008 in Hilton Head area, and I decided I was going to move back home with my parents and live in their basement and grow Japanese maples for a living. And a lot of people thought I was absolutely nuts for establishing that was what my plan was. A lot of my friends kind of laughed. They were like, oh, okay, so you're homeless.
No, I'm in the basement.
I think when I met my wife in 2013, she was like, what do you do for a living? I was like, I'm self-employed. She's like, so you don't have a job? So a lot of people were a little skeptical at first. But, it's kind of developed into a passion and something we've always done. But if you'd asked me in college if this is what I was going to be doing full time, it didn't seem like a path forward. I always loved this. It was something we did. Even in college, Tim and I would be going to garden shows, selling trees. I went to college from 2000 to 2004, and I was still doing this then, just not as my main source of income. So we're about 3 years out now. I'll be doing this full-time 20 years. So
Wow.
Been doing this full-time since 08. So 2028 is my 10-year mark of this being my only source of income.
See, that
I've done it my whole life.
See, you say 08 and it doesn't feel, 08 feels like yesterday. You say that.
But I've always done this in some capacity. I've always loved it. It's been a lifelong passion. It's just something that eventually became our main source of income and our main job. So,
Well, we're all thankful for Mr. Maple for all that it offers our families as well. It truly is a family business that with extended family. That's what it feels around here like. It's one big happy family.
well, I appreciate that. We love what we do, and we want it to be a great place to work. I mean, a lot of my friends are like, they're kind of it's kind of a joke now. Like, hey, remember when Matt was in the basement telling everybody he was going to sell Japanese maples for a living? And I feel really blessed now that we've been able to keep it going this long and grow it.
And now those friends are buying maples for their own landscapes. Well, speaking of family, I'm kind of peeking over, looking at your list there. Let's go ahead and jump right in.
A lot of these named for family members. So, again, this is the All About Me podcast. I probably named at least 80% of the trees on my list. Maybe not 80, but a lot of them I did help in naming a lot of these. So I told Tim I should get to help name his son since I helped name most of the trees. I come up with all the marketing, so you can blame all the dopey names on me.
Well, you named Tim too, right?
I did name Tim. So this is one of my greatest accomplishments in life. I'm 6 years older than Tim. And, I've got a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and 8-year-old. If you want to know how persuasive of a 5-year-old I was, I talked my mother into changing my brother's. I talked a pregnant lady into changing the name of her child to be born to Tim. I just was persistent. I said, no, I think he should be Tim. I was reading a book called Tim the Tin Can. And she was like, it's a good biblical name. And I was like, I just think he needs to be Tim. I think he needs to be Tim. And he was going to be Scott this whole time. He's now Timothy Scott.
Right.
But one of my greatest achievements, I actually named Tim. So I feel like I should get naming rights after that.
Absolutely.
So a lot of cool plants here. I'll jump in at 25. I'm giving you a little bit extra. I did want to throw a bonus on here of all the trees in the Japanese Maples I Hate podcast. So there's a lot of fun ones in there that aren't going to be on this list, like Pinky, Tamanishiki, Kagero, a lot of plants that devarigate or are hard to grow like Pinky, have to have the rootstock. I do love those. Go check out that podcast, kind of a fun, campy podcast. I talk about why I hate some of those, but I do love some of those also.
Right.
So I didn't put some of those on the list. I also excluded trees you haven't heard about yet. So if it's something I haven't really brought up or got to the forefront, we always have tons of stuff in development at Buckholz. Right. And if it's something I haven't ever mentioned, I didn't put it on this list. It'll be on a future list. There's some contenders. There's some new contenders in development for sure for some of my top lists.
That almost sounds like that could be a podcast in itself. So.
Yeah. Now a lot of these are new. Some of these hadn't made it to the trade yet, so there's certainly cutting edge stuff here. But if it's at the early stages and I hadn't had time to really evaluate it, might not be on this list. Now there's definitely a bunch on this list that hadn't hit the trade yet. You'll see some shocking stuff. I tend to go with the flashy stuff. So coming in here at number 25, I picked the one that started it all for Tim and I. It's Acer Palmatum Dolly Hill. Now, I never intended to offer this tree or really name it. It was kind of an accident. This is a tree that was my grandmother planted in the 1950s in her front yard. So my grandmother Dolly Hill kind of started all for us. I'm sure you saw in Tim's podcast our story of getting off the school bus and gardening with grandma and then kind of going out and working in her yard. And the tree that really started us off was this big red large leaf form that we loved, that grandma planted in the 1950s. I never planned on naming it. So I was propagating it for some family, kind of getting some numbers up on that. And I put it on a wholesale list, probably, when we bought Highland Creek Nursery's wholesale list. So probably somewhere around 2012 or so. I'd been grafting it for a few years before that. But I just put it on a list to know how many I had. So it was like, 72 or something on a list somewhere. And then we sent out the list wholesale and everybody bought them. So this is a beautiful tree. A lot of people love it. Dick Vandermatt privately sent me his top 5 when he was alive, and he said that was in his top 5. So really cool to see that. Just a fun tree, a big sentimental piece for us, Dolly Hill, and kind of the matriarch that started our whole maple campaign here. She kind of paved the way by planting a lot of seedlings in the 50s that are a lot of the rootstocks we started using. So Dolly Hill. My son Hicks is named after her husband Hicks. If he'd have been a girl, he would have been Dolly. So not for Dolly Parton, I'm sure.
Right.
But if we'd have had a third girl, it was going to be Dolly. Went with Hicks, which was Dolly's husband there. So special place in our heart, Dolly Hill. Just loved gardening. Awesome lady. And always a big encourager of what we do. So really cool there. Nice upright red, though. Beautiful form. Has a really big leaf to it. Very unique. All around, it's a pretty good plant, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed that one. It's gotten out there a little bit more and more over time. Never intended to offer it,
But that's allowed you, getting it out there has allowed you to preserve that tree, because that tree doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, before, so my grandparents built the house I live in now in like 54, and a drunk driver was coming down the road. No, let me rephrase this. A drunk pedestrian was on the road. A car swerved to miss them and hit a poplar tree. They're all fine. Actually, no, the lady that hit the tree, she wasn't drunk. She was pregnant, and the kids now graduate high school. Everybody's fine. Everybody's healthy. Awesome people. The tree had to come down, though. So when that tree came down, the impact of that tree coming down damaged the original Dolly Hill in the ground. Unfortunately, it didn't make it. So the original Dolly Hill in the ground slowly declined. And it's one of those things where you go, well, my grandmother wouldn't want to look at this tree either if it wasn't looking great. But so I propagated more of them to make sure I had those genetics. And it turned into the Cultivar Dolly Hill. So got to kick that one off at number 25. It started the whole process here for us at Mr. Maple. Really cool.
That's a great story too. I always love the stories behind the trees as well. It adds more to it. And the fact that Dolly Hill, the tree, the original tree is not existent, but you're able to save those genetics and continue to offer it and continue to have it. That's just an awesome story.
I got a lot of stories for you here today because I had a lot to do with a lot of these. So this might be a long one or a two-parter like Tim's. We'll see. Coming in here at number 24, I went with Pink Princess. Now, this is a witch's broom, off the cultivar Benny Shishahinga. So it's two weird things at once. It is a broom and also variegated, so it's got two genetic mutations going on there. You have to watch Tim's genetic mutation podcast. It's coming out soon if it hadn't already hit when this one does. But it's an interesting plant because it's a kind of a unicorn amongst maples. It's two different things going on at once. Our friend Carl Munn, who found Moonrise, real big mentor to Tim and I, he found this broom at his farm around the time. So my daughter's 8, about to turn 9. So it was probably around this time. And he said, I don't know if this would fit my market. I'm more like commercial wholesale trees. This might fit your collector market more. And I said, I want to name it Pink Princess because he asked me to name it. He said, I want you to name this. Think of something fun for this one. Then let me know. And I said, I really want to name it Pink Princess. And he said, well, that might be too close to Japanese Princess. If you'll make sure that doesn't step on Talon's toes, because he's good friends with Talon as well. He said, I don't want to name something too close to Japanese Princess, but check with Talon. And we checked with Talon. Talon said, I love that. And I need one too. So yeah, he liked the idea of that a lot. And around the time Carolina was being born, I decided to kind of name one in her honor, Pink Princess. So I went from my grandmother to my first daughter here, but I like naming trees after people without putting their name in it.
Right.
So I like all the trees with names, but I like it to be like, you can enjoy, Dolly Hill, I think is the only one I've ever put a person's name on. Most of them are like Pink Princess, where it's about a specific person, but you don't really have the name. Pink Princess, though, nice compact tree, 5x5, holds its color and stays variegated more than Benny Shishahinga. So it has a lower reversion rate than Benny Shishahinga. A very low reversion rate on this. I've only had like one revert ever. And then it was a witch's broom, so it had the short and center node and was like a whole nother thing. But very low reversion rate on this one. It's kind of like the Lillian's Jewel of reversions. Like it holds its own so much better than many of the other forms. I do get a little reversion on Benny Shishahinga. Kind of fun thing too, Benny Shishahinga is my mom's favorite plant. So first grandbaby, Pink Princess.
Oh, that's awesome.
Our logo on Mr. Maple, if you see our logo, that's Benny Shishahinga for mom. So it's mom's favorite tree. The sport off mom's favorite tree, the broom off mom's favorite tree here, Pink Princess, her first grandbaby. So,
oh, that's awesome. And in today's ever shrinking landscape, that is one of those that fits those spaces really well. And like in the lineage, all those, because you brought up Benny Shishahinga, and then you got like Mama Fu and all this stuff. And this seems to me like the one that fits those smaller shrinking landscapes. And like you say, it holds its colors. And to me, this is like the evolution of that style. And now we're getting to that better form of it.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Ideal for the container garden and really durable too. I mean, brooms tend to make things almost more sun tolerant. So it's got a lot of coolness to it, and I think a lot of good uses for Pink Princess. So that's my number 24. Now, number 23, it's a tree we named for my other daughter. When we bought the Buckholz farm, we went out there and I said, I'm throwing my flag down. I went around, there was a bunch of unnamed seedlings, and I didn't jump out to name a bunch. There were lots of stuff in evaluation. There's tons of those still in evaluation. There was a particularly interesting variegated plant that was pink. It's in that Aridno-Nishiki style. It's got a lot of pink and white going on, but the smallest leaves, tiny foliage, and just had a no name working name. Like had no name on it at all. It was just a seedling evaluation. But this tree was already in a 20-gallon container when I saw it. Like it'd been under evaluation by Talon for a long time, and it was marked as needs a name. I was like, we spent a lot on this place. I think I can name it.
Right?
So I was like, I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and go ahead and name one of these. So I put the name Daddy's Girl on this one for Tinsley, my second daughter there. And just a fun name. I think a lot of dads can appreciate a Daddy's Girl tree. So it's just a fun kind of vibe there. And she is big Daddy's Girl. She's always first one to run, jump in my lap, snuggle up and watch something. And just a fun tree, fun small leaf. It isn't that Aridno-Nishiki style, but it has tiny foliage. And the original one, it's well over 10 years old now. And the plant is short and dense and wide and tiny foliage. So I think people are going to love this one. Makes a good pairing with Pink Princess. Might be slightly larger in the same time frame, but it's got that same vibe of that tiny foliage. Something a little different going on. I like the genetics on this one. Much more compact than any of the other Aridno forms. Even slower growing and smaller than Kotobuki, but you're still getting that intense pink variegation. And I just love that all the foliage was smaller than a quarter. Really small foliage on this, which really, really stood out to me and made this one special. I think a lot of people are going to like it for bonsai and the landscape for sure. A small compact Aridno is really cool. And I had to throw Daddy's Girl on that one. So,
well, you talking about that at Buckholz with the stuff that under evaluation, there's so much stuff that he's had under evaluation for so long that I think he's kind of got to the point where he's like, I don't care about introducing anything new. So you guys coming in, I was just amazed. I knew there was going to be stuff there, but walking in and there's just so much stuff that is like, wow, that should be in the trade, but there's no name to it or anything like that. So Daddy's Girl is one of those. Just awesome story again behind a tree. He
handed us off a lot of gold. I didn't even put any of the Pseudosboldianum series on here because they're still not done on the naming process. Those might change a little bit. But there's a whole Pseudosboldianum hybrid series that was there. You've been there. There's conifers that are in the ground that are brooms that are 30 years old. Most of his plantings are. He planted them 48 years ago. We've owned it 2 years now, so it's 50 years. So it's a lot of 50-year-old trees. There's trees in the ground that are easily 30, 40 years old brooms that are conifers. And he goes, I just didn't name it. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, what do you want to call it? I was like, I just called it 02. It's like, wow, that's incredible. Have you ever propagated it? Nah, I didn't. Why not? He's like, I don't know. I like it. So there's some real gold there. There's some really fun development happening right now on Ghost series type plants too. So there's some really next level stuff. Daddy's Girl, kind of the first of those of the newer things that come out of Buckholz Farm. So, all right, y'all, coming here at number 22. Shocker, another one I named. I like my own cooking. I'm sorry.
Hey,
if I put enough time and thought into it to name it, I really liked it. That's kind of how they go. Yeah, I'm going to pick a lot of trees that I had something to do with, but I had a lot of time in this thing, and I thought about it a lot before I put it out there. So going at number 22 with Fountain of Youth.
Such a good one.
Yeah, this is a seedling. It's like an F2 from Nakakomoto Weeping, so it's a seedling from a seedling. So it's kind of in that lineage of seedlings. Has more of a Ryusin style shape to it. So the form of it looks more like Ryusin. But the leaf itself was way more divided. Comes out a little bit more salmon pink. For me, this has the best fall color of any of the weeping forms. So any of the Ryusin style Japanese maples, Fountain of Youth is my favorite of the fall colors for sure. You get just oranges with yellows going on in there. And it just kind of glows. It kind of has that shimmer to it. I've planted one across the road, so I can kind of just look out my window at it. And man, it catches my attention. The original one's there actually. And I love that plant. Salmony new growth in the spring. And it has a lot of what I like about a lace leaf, but a lot of what I like about, kind of not a lace leaf, more of a heavy Matsumuri. but that times a Ryusin. So it's got a very unique vibe going on to it. It's a little softer looking to me than Ryusin, a little bit more delicate. Even though it's not, it has that more vibe to it. I love it. Fountain of Youth is just kind of a fun name we put on it because it has that fountain effect. And gave it a little bit more mythological quality to it, putting that Fountain of Youth on it.
Right, and it's like you talking about the Ryusei. It's in that family, so it's one of those malleable ones, and like it's really fun to always have something that is malleable because you can then add your own kind of artistic twist in your garden with one of these. You can stake it up, you can use it as a trellis. I mean, there's just so much you can do with this in the landscape. Just a killer hit.
Yeah, great plant, and coming in here at 22, got Fountain of Youth. So coming here at 21, I've got another one of the Heat Seeker series. So you'll find more of these on the list for sure. I went with Hot Chicken. So that's the latest one out of the Heat Seeker series. This is a seedling. We were walking around at World Maple Park with the late great Yano, and I've had the privilege of getting to go and travel and meet so many people. And I think this thing people forget about, not tooting our own horn, but Tim and I have really invested our time into the other people. So, like, we couldn't really afford it. We were in the basement. We're like, we need to go meet Yano before we don't have a chance to meet Yano. We need to go meet Peter Gregory. And so we took everything we had and kind of put it into travel and to meet some of these guys. And this one kind of represents a little bit of that. It's a silly name, Hot Chicken, but it represents getting to go and meet Yano's son. And so we went to World Maple Park and visited Yano. And there was some seed on his Acer olivieranum that he had collected trees off of that became hot sauce and hot tamale. And we politely asked, he said, collect any seeds you want through the translator. And he was so gracious. I mean, we spent the whole day with him translating and talking plants. And he said, collect some seed off this. And we collected seed. It was a more regular form Acer olivieranum, subspecies olivieranum tree there. And the seeds we took back to the U.S., did everything right there, got our seeds back in, planted them. Some of the seeds come up, and some of them look sessilifolium style. So they have that Hagoromo style approach to them. Our very favorite of those became Hot Chicken. Now it leaves out with a little bit more of that like pink red over top of the green, kind of a blushing of pink red. Looks like hot sauce a little bit. Kind of gives it that red blushing. Does go to a very olive green color midsummer. Great reds and yellows in the fall. Very interesting grower. That olivieranum aspect of it makes it way more heat tolerant. Like me some hot chicken. So all the things they could have roasted before. They didn't talk about all I like to eat. So, thanks for leaving that one out. Love me some hot chicken, and just a fun plant. I think it's one that's going to catch on more for its durability too.
Well, to me, the aesthetic is so aesthetically pleasing in the landscape, especially when it gets to that point where the leaves kind of droop down and almost fold over each other and almost kind of look like chicken feathers. Right. It makes me think of that. And then, man, it's got superpowers. It's part of the Heat Seekers. Yeah. And, that's game changing. That, like, I say it's for our maple brothers and sisters in those hot climates. Well, now you got something that is going to be aesthetically pleasing in your landscape, but can tolerate those hot zones.
Yeah. A great plant. I'm a nerd. I like superpowers. So I always like to describe the trees that can do a little bit more zone pushing with superpowers, and Hot Chicken certainly does that. So now we're back to where Tim started. So that was all extra. I'm going in at number 20 with Makawa Yatsubusa, the OG Makawa Yatsubusa Acer Palmated Makawa Yatsubusa.
King Makawa. Hard
to not pick it on your list, right? I mean, how can you have a list without that on there? Absolutely love the plant. Durable, heat tolerant. I've said this many times, but when people ask me for a bonsai tree, I just go, here, check this out. Instead of just explaining that any tree could be a bonsai tree, I'm like, I got you. Let me show you the bonsai plant. This is it. And people love that one because of that very reason. It's easy to find. The lineage of it's awesome. You can go through the seeds of it and find new and interesting things. But it's hard not to be attracted to that form. And the OG Makawa is just tough as nails. I mean, it's one of those ones you can put out in full sun and high heat areas. Great fall color. And you don't have to be a master at shaping trees. You don't have to have your Mr. Miyagi skills to prune this one. You can just let it go. It's going to look dope on its own. And it's easy to do.
And so container friendly. You talk about that bonsai. It's one of those that you can throw in a container, throw it out in your landscape, and people are going to go by and think you have a big old bonsai sitting in your landscape, but really it's just a Makawa in a container.
All right, enough about that one. Back to the ones I named. It's all about me today, all right? I'm being cocky today. I'm going with Koi. So Acer Palmatum Koi coming here at 19. A Makawa seedling. So when we evaluate here for a long time, leafs out with some great colors, then goes to a bronzing, kind of has some orangey colors in the early spring as well. My favorite of the Makawa forms for fall, I normally get just a dynamic display. The first graft of this is in my display garden at my house, and I get so much yellow in the orange that it kind of sets it apart from Makawa. I think, much like Fountain of Youth is my favorite fall color of the weeping forms, this one's my favorite fall color of all the Makawa forms. I think it really sets itself apart. Good grower, though, too. Like, it's not as slow as Mystic Makawa or even Japanese Princess. It tends to get out there a ton more. And for that reason, I like it because you can actually get some sign on this one, get it produced. I think it's a dope plant, though. I like it for its heat tolerance. But for me, I love fall color, and that one kind of sets itself apart.
Yeah, koi is one of those. I really appreciate koi because, you can have yourself a Makawa variant garden, and this is one of those that you talk about those fall colors, but then you can see the difference between all those and how dynamic they are. And koi, like you say, those fall colors just really, really stand out. Excellent tree.
Yeah, one of my favorites. So coming here at 19, I joke that I named a lot of these, but I just got lucky. A lot of people helped me name a lot of these. So I didn't really put a name on this as much as Bobby Green found this amazing tree, sent it to me to evaluate, and trusted me, which I was fortunate enough to get to put a name on it. So coming here at number 18, we've got one of my favorite red uprights. In fact, my highest ranked red upright, I think, on this list. That's Acer Palmatum Shazam. So Bobby Green, camellia grower down in Alabama, found this one. They were going to clear some land, and he said, you need to save these genetics. There's something special going on here. And I absolutely love how Shazam has large foliage and small foliage. It's not uncommon on the new growth for this one to get 5 to 6 foot wide on the growth. Really stands out amongst other red uprights to me. And it's keeping that. We've grafted this one. And a lot of these on this list are kind of the plants that I keep coming back and looking at. So they're kind of the things that interest me. So when I'm at Buckholtz and I'm going out there to check on sets, I'm like, hey, where the Shazam at? I got to go look at them. Yep, they all got big foliage. I'll look at that. Look how cool it is. And so I'll go look at them in 10 gallons. I'll go look at them in every size. And it's one of those trees that just keeps captivating me. It keeps giving me interest, and I keep coming back to it. So a fun name. We threw the name Shazam on it, superhero. Sticking with that nerdy theme we do. Shazam actually has the exclamation mark at the end of it, too. So it's Shazam, exclamation mark, Shazam!
The superhero.
Yeah. We probably say Shazam.
But, you talk about these are ones that you named, and names are so important. They really are, because you could have a really, really great tree out there, and with a horrible name, it's just going to sit there. So don't play it down. Like, the names are very, very important.
Love that one, though. All around, just an interesting tree. Keeps me coming back, and really, these are the trees that keep my interest. So I could change my list out of my top favorites, but these are the ones that keep me engaged. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to the greenhouse, I'm going to come looking for these, and this next one's no exception. Dick Vandermaat, I said the late, great Dick Vandermaat was kind enough to put Dolly Hill in his list. Well, this is my favorite Dick Vandermaat, and that's saying a lot because he's got some great introductions. Acer Palmatum Mila. That one, we were the first ones in the United States with this plant from Dick Vandermaat. We kind of helped popularize it in the U.S. I had a mission to get this one out there because I saw it, and I just loved it. And originally, I jokingly call this tree like the Tim Duncan of maples. Like, you might not realize how good it is until you look at it in every single season. It's like, it didn't take a season off. It just, every single season, it's like, man, that thing is looking amazing.
I think you've accomplished that job getting that tree out here in the U.S. because I would say at least once a week, I'm getting a message on social media or in a comment somewhere or on eBay. We've got our eBay store, and I'll get a message there. Is Mila going to be available? When is Mila going to be available? So it's one of those, the people that you've gotten it out there and the people want it, and it's so killer. Like, you put some pictures up and everyone's immediately drawn to Mila.
We've turned it into unlimited production. So like that one, if we do 1,000 a year in production, we're not going to be doing too little. So we're trying to get the numbers up there. Absolutely love it. Yellowish eye, purplish lavender at times, keeps changing. Every single season looks great. The new growth summer flushes look amazing. Like I said, it's one of those trees. It's like you look at it and you're like, huh. And you come back later, it's still in the show. Come back later, it's still in the show. And you're like, man, this thing just keeps being at the top of the list every single season. Absolutely love it. More of a narrow plant. The original one's planted there at one of the first ones in the United States is planted there in my parents' garden. Very narrow habit to it. Very columnar overall as it structures out. Doesn't get a lot of width to it. Absolutely love this one though. You know, if you like the Sojo types, if you like those like spring flowering types, Mila's top choice. I mean, it's right there. All right, y'all, coming in here at number 16. I'm a broken record today. I did help name this one as well. Japanese lanterns. I love this plant. This was a seedling we evaluated for a while. It was an older seedling when I first saw it. I took grafts off of it and kind of noted that something special is going on here. This is interesting. It was actually a rootstock originally. So the original tree, I started doing this in 08 full time. So I've been doing this a minute. 07, we had a brutal freeze here. So in 07, we got down to, almost like 5 degrees with everything in leaf. And so some trees really faced a lot of issues. Now, it wasn't just here. This happened all the way down into Dallas. So it was a huge trouble for the entire industry. Really taught me a lot out the gate. But one of the trees that locally, the original graft had died out of it. And the rootstock is actually what became Japanese lanterns. And I really saw this, and all the foliage had this cupped look to it, like little lanterns. And so I took some signs off of it, and I grafted it. And I want to see if this retains this characteristic. And then I was just enthralled with the orangey red fall color. It looks like the little lanterns are lighting up. The tree is really irregular in the growth, so it kind of arches out, and it kind of makes these little lantern hangers like you see when you're in Kyoto. You see these, these little arches with these lanterns hanging down from them. And just kind of reminded me of that. So kind of had that next level different foliage to it. And I like when a Japanese maple captures the imagination like that. So I thought that this one, the name did fit it. It kind of captures what it does. It adds the value of the tree. And just kind of captivated my interest. That's what that one did. It's like you get to be a kid and use your imagination. You look at that when you see Japanese lanterns, all these little beach balls that are forming off this tree.
This is one, if I was compiling a list, would definitely land on that list. And the way I try to describe Japanese lanterns is it's a tree with personality. It really does. You talk about the way it reaches out, and you're exactly right. The way it kind of has those lantern looking, the way they kind of fold and look like Japanese lanterns. And it gives such a personality to the tree that in your landscape is going to bring that same type of personality. Just like when you walk by and you saw it and it draws you to it. If you put this in your landscape, any of you out there put this in your landscape, it's going to do that to the same anybody. Because that same feeling you talk about drawing to it, every time I see one, I get drawn to it myself.
Hey, thank goodness we didn't have AI back in 07, 08. Everybody would accuse me of AI in this one. It seems too on point. Take a Japanese maple, call it Japanese lanterns. Now make the foliage look like lanterns. It looks like a little AI'd up, but we didn't have that back in 08 when I got this one grafted.
If it was only that easy.
Right. So if we could only create them that easy, that'd be perfect. Right. So then send us the genetics to make that work.
Right.
But it does have that like kind of lantern feel to it. And I love the fall color on it. Green most of the season, but just another one that kind of captivates the moment for me a little bit. All right, guys, coming in here at number 15. This is one from Tsukasa Maple, my friend Yunata Tanaka down there in Japan. Really fun plant. This one is so next level. Shirayuki no Mai. We've mentioned this one on one other podcast, the most white plants. This one really catches my attention. It's a Arita Nishiki style variegation. You don't get pink in this one for the most part. You might get a little pink blush every now and then, but for the most part, it is bright, pale white. I mean, this one could be Snow White. This one is bright, pale white and green. And it's so white that the bark of the tree is white. It is as white as Bihu is yellow. So it's a really unique structure of the plant. I've actually had one in the ground for about 5 years. Maybe I say 5 years. I'm getting older here. It's probably been about 8 years, really, if I stop and go at it. But it's been in the ground about 8 years in Western North Carolina. And it's held up to our winters so far. I've really been impressed with it. I was kind of getting out there to test the durability on this one. We're getting it more and more into production. It's kind of tricky. Much like Bihu, you must cut the soundwood and graft it right away. It's like if you stored this one or shipped it, it would wither up. So it doesn't want that at all. You kind of have to cut the soundwood, get it into production right away. Such a weird one, though. I love the just paleness to the dark green the green has to it. It's almost like that absence of the pink brings something more to the table. It's like it just has a sophisticated look to it. It's like you've reduced the pink but that simplicity almost makes it even cooler to me.
Right. Hey, you weren't lying when you said flashy though. Like, I mean, like all
there.
these, like all of these have such like strong characteristics. I mean, I get it. Flashy. I mean, who doesn't like a little flash, right? Who doesn't like a flashy garden?
We got some wild ones. So this next one, I had to have this one on the list. Me and Tim argue continuously over what the best Ghost Series tree is. So you already know if you're a longtime listener. Number 14 is Amber Ghost for me. I love Amber Ghost. It's my favorite of the original Ghost series. They're all awesome, but I like Amber Ghost the best. I think it has the best structure, best fall color, best heat tolerance, best colors. I mean, it just is a winner. And I think Talon agrees, and that's why he goes to it for a lot of his genetics. So Amber Ghost, you get that crazy just hues of amber going on in the springtime, and a good grower too, over a foot of growth a year. All around, I think it's just an absolute winner. I just love the color of it. Yeah, that Amber Ghost. You probably know it if you're a long-time listener. Not shocking there, but
right,
it wouldn't be a top 25 of Matt's without Amber Ghost on there.
Right, and I mean, you talk about Amber Ghost. That's one of those, like, what else can we say? What else can I say? Like you've said it all. I mean, Talon buckles. How many other plants have come from Amber Ghost alone? So I mean, that right there, not just your personal list, but how many other lists that it lands in, because it's just a top-notch tree.
So you agree, Tim's wrong. Amber Ghost better than Purple Ghost. We've settled it here today. So coming in here at number 13, we actually have a seedling from Amber Ghost, which is going to surprise some people. Got this like Halloween thing here. We went from the ghost to the bloody talons.
Right.
Coming here number 13, we got bloody talons. Just so funky. I mean, this one's weird in all the weird ways that are awesome. Just a weird, compact, dense plant. It's almost like an Addams Family plant. It's like it wouldn't be your first Japanese maple. If you were looking for a blood good and you came to Walmart and you got yourself
right.
a blood good and you got a bloody talons, you might be a bit flipped out. This one hit the big box stores. I can promise you that. Bloody talons is a very odd, small, slow-growing mutation. This year, you could see some of that Amber Ghost influence more than most. You could actually see the reticulation in the veins, a lot of it this year. Talon Buchholz named it. You kind of get that red, bloody effect on the claw-like look of the talons there. Convex leaves, has that curl to it. Just weird. Makes a fun container plant. I love how different it is.
Well, you talk about that and how slow growing it is, because I've seen comments, I've heard people talk about like, why is bloody talons like so hard to get? And it's like, because it grows so slow. And then to go out there to the farm and see the original bloody talons. That original bloody talons, how old? I mean, what, 25, 30 years?
Talon says 90s.
So the 90s,
yeah,
and that's not a big tree in itself. I mean, what?
3 by 3.
3 by 3.
I mean,
and that's
3 by
the
3
original tree in all those years. I mean, just insane.
Super compact, super interesting, super weird. Great fall color. I mean, it goes to a bright, fiery red with some speckling in it in the fall. Just all around, just kind of evokes what I like about. Again, it's that imaginative quality to it, right? It's got everything going on there. Unique plant, different, slow growing. It's a collector piece for sure. So collector piece, but one I absolutely love. All right, this one's going to be controversial because it's all the way down at 12. We bought Buchholz Farm just to get this plant, and it's my Ikunishiki, Acer japonicum. I didn't have enough japonicums on this list. They're kind of missing this list, I realized. But favorite japonicum is variegated. It is also reticulated, and it's my Ikunishiki. This tree has that it quality. I mean, there's one at Buchholz that's probably 6 foot tall that we're grafting off of. Didn't have a lot of wood on the original plant. We had to kind of cut it back to enforce new growth to get wood on it. Really talked about, highly anticipated coming from us. We will be offering it. Super interesting. I mean, it really is reticulated over top of Acer japonicum foliage. It feels like you took Grandma Ghost and multiplied it by Maiku Jaku a little bit. Like it's kind of got that vibe going on to it. So weird. Fall colors kind of reflect that. You get a little of what you like about Maiku Jaku, but you can see the reticulation in it going on in the fall. Just a fun plant. I absolutely love it. Captures my interest. Again, I'm always checking on that one, seeing where it's at. It leaves out almost completely white in the spring. I mean, It's so weird.
Oh, I mean, and I know the anticipation is up there. I remember it wasn't even a tree. This is before you bought Buckles Farm, but you guys just went out there to visit, and you guys came back with pictures and videos of this thing. And it was like, nah, that's not for real. There's no way that's for real. And then, we've posted some pictures and some videos out there. And I mean, there are folks out there that are still like, hey, when's it coming? I mean, it's when you see it, you don't forget it.
There are scion plants now that we can get more plants off of. So it takes a little while. It's only been almost 2 years now. It hadn't been quite a full 2 years since we purchased it. So it takes a couple seasons to kind of build up stock on this one. Again, that original plant didn't have much viable scions on it. So we had to kind of prep that tree to then be producing from. But really next level. I mean, if you watch that original Most Outrageous Plants, this is the bonus number 6. And why it was because we didn't want to even tell people about it if we didn't get it. So
right.
We did a top 5 most outrageous at Buckholz, and we'd already kind of started getting in our mind that we were thinking about purchasing Buckholz at that point. Like that, some conversations have been had between us and Talon about potentially buying Buckholz Farm. And we're like, hey, just leave that one at the back in case we don't.
Because we might still need that.
Right, we might still need to buy that one from. I don't need a lot of competition for it. So I might need to make him a ridiculous offer on that plant. So it's there, but if we don't get the farm, don't put that one in. So You'll notice on that original top 5 most outrageous, that's a bonus plant. And it's coming. It's coming. So from one top 5 most outrageous at Buckholz to another, one of the last trees, Talon's still naming trees, so it won't be the last. He's still at Buckholz right now cutting scion. He's retired, but he's came back. So he's back cutting scion a lot. Talon's been enjoying retirement, but he still likes getting out there. He's out there. He likes the propagation. So he's been heavily involved with our team for summer grafting right now in 2025. He officially retired last September, but he ain't keeping that guy away. It's like Michael Jordan. He's putting the jersey back on every time he comes back. So one of his last ones that he put a name on, it might have been a response to my daddy's girl too. I kind of went through the flag down. I was testing the water a little bit. It's like, I'm going to name this one. I think he was like, Matt and Tim are coming tomorrow. I'm putting a name on this one. So it was like he knew we were arriving into Oregon that week. And I didn't even know we had this tree for a full year of owning Buckholz Nursery, and that is Ghost Cascade. This thing's nuts. It's kind of got that Jiro Shidari Naka Komodo Weeping shape to it, but with a reticulated Ghost Series shape, or Ghost Series leaf. So you're getting a reticulated lime green veining, a lot of Grandma Ghost-like qualities to it, and then that Jiro Shidari cascading umbrella, that mounding Inaba Shidari-like form, that low-growing umbrella. Again, by the time I was introduced to this tree, it was already in like a 7 or a 10 gallon, and I was like, what the heck? How did I not know about it? We've been hiding this for a year.
Right.
I mean, I didn't even know it. We've owned this place for a year, and I didn't even know this existed. So in production, really got me excited. I love the idea of a weeping form of the ghost.
This is one of those that you talk about how, man, like, or before you said something about AI, to be able to put in, I want this characteristic, I want this characteristic. This is one of those, like, man, like you're talking about like that ghost reticulation. You're talking about that kind of like that Ryusin kind of weeping habit, all those different things. Like, it's almost like, nah, this can't be for real, but it's for real. And I mean, just so next level. And that's something I appreciate about Talon is, I don't know why he held off on certain things as long as he did, or never, went past that evaluation. But this is another one of those that, like, when you mentioned Maiku Nishiki, man, this is just next level, and putting that ghost name on it. So I guess technically this could be the start of what you refer to as, hey, maybe there's the Ghost Series Part 2.
Yeah, there's some interesting genetics there at that farm. There's some untapped potential there.
Oh yeah.
Hundreds of other trees that were in that lineage that weren't even picked through. So maybe the start of something new here. So guys, coming in here at number 10, I've got a really funky one for you. It's Acer pubipalmatum Flying Daggers. Really a weird plant. Another one I put a name on. There was a film called House of the Flying Daggers. Probably inspired my name for that one a little bit. Really a funky plant. really love this one. So it has that sharp look to it on each of the foliage. The Maple Society came here to visit Asheville area. That was before I was president of the Maple Society. I think I was just on the board, but they came to visit the Asheville area. I want to say around 2012 or 2013, something like that. And we had this as a seedling. I actually found this tree on the exact same day we collected the seed for Hot Blonde. We collected the seed off the Poopy Palmatum that became Flying Daggers. And we didn't select it for having a Macawa-like shape. We didn't even know that at first. So we'd collected a whole bunch of seed, and we had our Area 51 house. And, of course, we took down Buckholz there when they came with the Maple Society. And this one was in, like, peak fall color, and it was just Osakazuki color on fire. And at the time, it looked like it had a little bit more Leonard Loblum style leaf from that expression. And Talon said, whatever this is, I love this, you know? And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, whatever Talon likes, we're going to do that, right? So I grafted it, sent him one. I was already waiting on it to get big enough to get some soundwood on anyway. It was only in like a 1 gallon. And so I grafted from that one, sent him one, and it kind of tightens up over time. So as you're growing this one, it doesn't look as Macawa Yetsubusa, especially in a young form, but it densens up over time, and it kind of has more of a Macawa-like structure. That first graft I sent Talon's going in the ground at Buckholz this year. You know, it's many years old. I said it was probably like 2012, 2013. The tree's only about 3.5 feet tall, maybe 2.5 feet wide, going in the ground now, and just a real beautiful structure to it. Amazing fall colors. I like Poopy Palmatums. They get this more of a striation to the bark. I really like going into other species in section Palmata outside of Palmatum. One is just, it's like Final Frontier stuff for me. It's like that hadn't been tapped, so let's go explore there, right?
Absolutely.
Let's go look at the places that are unknown. So made sense to me anyway. But this one had truly unique characteristics. Sister seedling to this one would be Emerald Tiger, which is the kind of variegated Poopy Palmatum we've been putting out there a little bit. Flying Daggers, though, had to be on my list. I just love this plant. I loved it before I knew it was a Macawa form, and then as it ages, it tightens up into that dense, tighter shape to it. It doesn't look like that at all in younger growth. Like, you kind of get those separations, but it kind of just keeps tightening up. Absolutely love this one. And one I actually was reconnected with when we bought the Buckholz farm because I'd lost one of the original plants. So it was really cool to get a nice specimen of that again.
You know, great name. I mean, I think that name, the Flying Daggers, really, really hits home with the foliage, the way the foliage looks. And I can tell you, you know, seeing younger specimens of Flying Daggers, I would hear you and Tim talk about it, has that Macawa kind of structure. Mm-hmm. And it really wasn't until I saw it with my own eyes, the one you're talking about that's out there at Buckholz Farm, really seeing it, that takes it, not just that foliage, but that form takes that tree to such a next level. It's a game changer. And I'm excited to see more of it come to production, get out there in the landscape, because we talk about those Macawa types. You throw one of these with one of those Macawa types with with those dagger kind of looking foliage on it, the texture of it is going to just game changer with all the other Macawa type stuff. You know,
it's kind of funny. I was I mentioned I was doing this since 2008 full time. So I've been selecting and playing with this even longer than that. I mean, I'm 43. Been doing this. My dad was doing this before me as a hobbyist, and we kind of took his hobby and grew it from there. But we were trying to impress, our mentor when Talon showed up. So we're showing him things, and you can also blame Talon Buckholz for Flying Daggers and Hot Blonde because he looked at both those in our greenhouse. And first off, he loved the idea that we were going outside the species. Most people were selecting Palmatum. Well, here we're doing Oliviernum and Poopy Palmatum, and he was like, I want these, and as soon as he got excited about those, we were already producing them, but that just gave us the encouragement to really keep it going. So you'll see Flying Daggers returning. We've sold a few of them. I would say probably next year is when that one will actually hit numbers again. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, coming here at number 9, I've got another Talon Buckholz introduction. One of my favorite of his newer introductions. One of the few he's putting in his garden soon. We've got the original one there at Buckholz. That's Acer Palmatum Marmalade.
Man, you talk about that. That is one, when we were there, I guess it's been a couple months now, but, there in kind of middle of spring, man, you walked into that greenhouse with that set that you guys have over there, and it made the entire, I don't want to say that, there's a problem with any of the other Japanese maples, but holy
show,
cannoli,
right?
stole the show.
It's hard once you've seen that. Like you can't unsee that. Everything else gets compared to that after that. So it's like that spring display is so next level. It's so glowing. I absolutely love Marmalade. It's one of those plants. I mentioned Mila's going into that no limit production. Master P. It's on the no limit schedule. Well, Marmalade's on the no limit. So Marmalade is it's no limit label records.
Right.
It's keep producing that one as many as you can until you make them say
That's right. But yeah, I mean, that's a game changer. And whenever we post anything on social media, do any video with that, man, the response for it is just so intense. When is it coming? Where could I find it? And I want to say, was it just one drop this year? So you got it out a drop this year?
The people that have got this one have went nuts over it too. I've had people compare it to some of the best spring interests out there, and I haven't seen anybody say this lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's next level for spring interest. Oranges, yellow eye, perfect pairing with Mila. Just a really nice plant. Again, one I'm trying to do as many as humanly possible of, because I think it's just going to be
a hit.
One of those plants that's, I love it. It's a star for me.
Absolutely.
And I'm drawn to it every time. So it's kind of why it's on this list too. All right. Coming in here at number 8. It's getting trickier. I got Benny Ukigumo.
Ooh, flashy. Well, everybody, you hear Ukigumo, and this is taking that to the next level.
A friend of mine found this as a seedling in a park. Believe it or not.
No kidding.
Yeah. Out and found this as a seedling in a park. Really cool. Everything you like about Ukigumo with that redder quality to it. I mean, new growth of the summer. We're in summer when we're recording this. Bright pink. I mean, just those on a ton of bright pink. Really captivate my interest. I like this one. It just kind of keeps the variegation. It's strong. It's interesting. It's super next level. We're going to get this one to a level where the production's really high on it. It's easy to get to. I mean, it's going to be a very popular tree for a while for us, but it's in the works. And so I think it's just one of those captivating plants. Everything I love about Ukigumo, but then with some red, pink flash in there too. Just, well, it's got it.
It's always fun to see where, Ukigumo on its own terms, just, killer tree, super flashy. And it's always fun to see how you can take something and how, like you say, just a chance seedling found, but how those different characteristics can get expressed in a tree, and how it almost takes what you have to that next level.
Yeah, I absolutely love this one. So, all right, we're moving along. It's going to get crazier from here, guys. Number 7, we got Lily L.
Woo-wee, man. I saw this when we went out there, and I'm like, okay, we say game changer. This is next level stuff going on right there.
Another one of those trees that takes something I like about another tree and then just turns it up. So the Benny Ukigumo, everything I like about Ukigumo, but with pink and red. Some similarities with Peve multicolor, but then you just took it and turned it up. So this one's got pink going on in the spring. It's got mutated leaves. It's got some leaves that have the inverse where it's like white on the outside. It just keeps throwing these funky colors. I probably stood and looked at this tree like a goofball for like a solid hour when we were out there at Buckholtz in the spring. I mean, you were out there with me at one point. And, oh my gosh. I would just get on there and just stare at it. It really enthralled me. The colors are crazy. Talon Buckholtz introduction. Talon named it. Just an amazing color though.
That's one of those, like, looking at it, and especially, and it was kind of hard to capture on camera just how vivid it really is. It doesn't do it. The pictures and the video, I don't think really does it justice unless you see it with your own eyes. And this is one of those. It's like, man, there's got to be a break in the matrix or something, because like this can't be real.
How outrageous can we get? Right. How ostentatious of colors can we possibly reach? And I'm the Scream Maple Trees guy, but this one makes me scream. Like, I go out there and I'm like, this is nuts. In production, probably going to be a plant you want to keep the shade. I mean, we don't really even know yet, but probably one for the shade. Numbers are looking pretty good. We've been grafting this one for a while. Talon was actually grafting a few before we even bought the farm, so that really helped. It's getting going though, and that one's going to be one that you're going to see show up here on Mr. Maple pretty soon. So, Lily L. All right, guys, coming in here at number 6. Didn't break the top 5, but it's a lovely plant. We got kryptonite.
Ooh, man, that variegation. Man, I really enjoy kryptonite. And, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the different Makawa variants that are out there, and that there are different, you get into like lily pad and stuff like that. But, man, I think kryptonite is just so underrated. I don't think enough people really realize just how dynamic kryptonite is.
It's my favorite of the variegated Makawas. It's my favorite of those because I think it's the most refined. It has that separation. It's almost got that Mana Sato like divide to it. It's a lime green on dark green. Absolutely love this one. I've got several in the landscape in my garden. It leaves out kind of greenish. So you're like, oh, did it revert? It never reverts. It comes back like crazy. This lime green kind of just spark that goes on in it. Big comic book fan. I got Shazam on here as well. Longtime Superman fan, favorite superhero. So I've been growing one of these in full sun and one of them in full shade for quite a while. And the one in full sun's done really well. The durability's been off the charts. Typically 3 to 4 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide, even in a 10-year span. And it's looked great in sun or shade. So the durability's been great. And I'd say similar to Makawa. We're right there close to, so very durable. All around, it's a great container plant or in the ground. And kryptonite, it just kind of glows. It's just kind of got that magnetic, like it draws me to it. It's got something about it that just kind of captures me and gets my attention every time.
Okay, now we're getting ready to get into your top 5.
Should I spoil them all at once and tell you already own the t-shirt?
Yeah.
So if you see that t-shirt, it's like the team t-shirt. It's like we kind of played on that. Like sometimes you'll see that and it'll be like the Lakers or the Bulls or, bands or stuff like that. My top 5 is the t-shirt on the website, guys. So it shouldn't be too hard. Coming here at number 5, I got Dragon Master.
I've got one of these, and it all started with Daryl asked me, she's like, I want a yellow Japanese maple. And I was thinking our front porch, our area where we get some, morning sun, afternoon shade, what's going to fit that spot? And I've got it sitting on a table, weeping down between 2 rocking chairs. And man, this has definitely become one of my favorite growers. It does so well. It's been so easy to take care of. Like I got it in that container. You talk about in your top 5, man, this is just a killer next level Ryusen style tree. And I appreciate that it's out there because just growing it myself in my own garden, man, it is just next level. And
spoiler alert, I named all of the ones in my top 5. So you may own the t-shirt, but you don't know what order they're in.
That's
because
right.
I put them on the order of the t-shirt that I thought they looked cool in a t-shirt.
Right.
Like, so it didn't look weird. Not necessarily in the order of the top 5, but that is my top 5. So t-shirt sold on MrMaple.com right now. Dragon Master, it is the Weeping Orange Dream. Like it has that Orange Dream quality. Big leaf, holds its color better than Orange Dream into the summer, but you get that yellow sheen to it. You get some oranges going on. I think it's the most colorful of the Weeping Yellows. I absolutely love it. Just a nice one. Put it in the container, stake it up, let it weep down. Absolutely next level.
And even with that afternoon shade in there, during the summer you start to kind of get that lime green kind of yellow color to it. But even when it goes to that, it's still lightening up those dark spaces. Like I say, next level.
All right, so they don't know the order.
That's right.
But they got the trees. I've had people come up to me and be like, what's your top 5? I'm like, you're wearing it right now. All right, number 4, we got Magic Moon.
Man, I mean, this is one of those that I don't think there's, anything else out there that grabs, especially when it kind of goes to that molting stage, that kind of fisty, kind of crumply, molting stage. Man, this is one of those that just grab your attention every time.
Yeah, this was a seedling that was actually found by my friend Jonathan Savlich. So same gentleman who found Lillian's Jewel, named that. He sent me this one and said put a name on it. So I evaluated it, and it became Magic Moon. It's a full moon Acer Shear style style leaf with variegation to it. So you get that speckling, swirling variegation going on. Just captivate the imagination. Like another one that I'm just drawn to. I have to go check it out every single time. Has that mythological characteristic to it. Yeah, I just love it. I'm a big J.J. Cale fan. Like J.J. Cale. Wrote a lot of songs for Leonard Skinner. Well, he wrote Call Me the Breeze for Leonard Skinner. Wrote a lot of songs for Eric Clapton, like Cocaine, After Midnight, a lot of Clapton's hits. He has a song called Cajun Moon. and I was grafting and listening to Cajun Moon, and Cajun Moon eventually in my brain morphed into Magic Moon while I was grafting this tree. So sitting there listening to some JJ Cale, and somehow Cajun Moon, Where Does Your Power Lie, that song kind of slowly morphed in my brain into Magic Moon for this tree. So love this tree, love the colors. I think it's so next level. And again, full moon maple, so Magic Moon there.
And you know, like I say, that I don't think there's anything else. The only tree I can think of that even kind of comes close to it is Purple Curl. But then they're both two totally different worlds apart. You know, one's more on that red, and they have their own. But like outside of that, I can't think of anything else that comes close to it.
Super funky. Both probably Shirosawinum influence. I think Magic Moon might look a little more totally Shirosawinum than the I would say definitely with Purple Curl, it's got some palmatum influence to the leaf shape, but some Shirosawinum heritage to get into that. Both awesome. Love Magic Moon. Perfect pairing with it, by the way, too. But funky one, and coming in there at number 4. All right, guys, we're all the way up to the top 3. You can look at the T-shirt if you bought it already and know where we're at. I say this every time I talk about plants, but my favorite reticulated Japanese maple is the Firefly.
I think this is the one that we get accused the most for saying that we use some special AI or some type of masking on the photo. It's been photoshopped. You did something to the photos. And I'm just like, no, you just like, these changes and these colors are for real.
So I think my wife actually came up with this name. I'm not sure. I suggested it for this plant, I know, but I think she saw it and was like, Firefly. And like, it just kind of stayed in my mind. Or go through and fight with different names and put it out there, and then I'll say, hey, you like this? And Tim says, no, I don't like that. And then we kind of go back and forth, argue like brothers until we eventually get to something. But I think Amy originally put the name Firefly into my head as a possibility for this one. So she might actually name this one. But we put a name on it here at our nursery. You've heard us tell the story. We didn't find this tree. A friend of ours was grafting it, sent it to us. Sent it to us under the name Moonfire. We're like, man, I've got Moonfire. It don't look anything like this, you know. I love Moonfire, great plant, but daggum, this is cool. Like, this is next level, something crazy going on. And he said, well, my friend named it Moonfire. He didn't know there was another one. If that's a different name, you need to evaluate it and put a new name on it. So kind of became our chore to evaluate it against everything out there and then give it a new name. So took us about 3 to 4 years of that process of kind of studying it, comparing it to all reticulated maples, and we kind of reverse introduced this one. So we were like, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, and eventually to the point where we're like, it's its own thing. And absolutely love this one. Narrow footprint in the landscape, more columnar than the other reticulated forms. 6 to 8 foot in 10 years, very narrow footprint, and just dynamic colors. Great red fall colors, but man, in the spring, sometimes it's all pink, sometimes it's lavender, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's white, sometimes it just keeps throwing on so many dynamic colors. It's my all-time favorite of the reticulated ones. I love when it's like lavender border with a white eye to it. Just keeps changing. Get your cameras out, get ready for this one when it's in your landscape, because it's going to look different every week. So you can go out there and get a different snapshot pretty much weekly on this one, and create a whole portfolio of different Firefly photos. Western North Carolina, known for our fireflies. I think that was kind of part of the mythos of why that one got named that way. But yeah, pretty cool plant, Firefly.
You know, you talk about that. I recently had family come in from Colorado, and at that altitude out there, they don't have fireflies. And this is the first time they came out here, and they were just, what are those? Holy cow. So, I mean, perfect name, makes sense, great tree. And like I say, changes all the time. And when you look at our photos, those are for real.
All right, guys, we're up to number 2, and you could probably guess it. Y'all know my favorite tree. So number 2, Red Panda. Now, I'll give you a little bit more story about this one. This one's the Red Macawa seedling we named and evaluated here at our farm. One of our few patented plants we do here at Mr. Maple. Red Panda is a red spring interest Macawa that puts on red flushes in the summer over the green. Absolutely love it. I think it's next level. It's my favorite Macawa variant of them all. Red Panda, I think the name, there's something you said about what's in a name, and I do think something about this name is what created all the hype. Like, this is probably one of our most hyped plants of all time. Number 1 could give it a run for its money for hype originally too, but one of our most hyped up plants. And we did play with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we enjoy the hype too, but we didn't really get it started. Like it was
Right.
It was real, and it kind of surprised us even at how crazed the hype got on Red Panda. Fun Makawa variant, 3 to 4 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide, tight folds like Makawa Yetsubusa. Again, kind of an orange red spring color, kind of that Red Panda red. I was walking around the Nature Center here in Western North Carolina, and it mostly has native animals, but they had a rare exhibit of red pandas. And it was just a perfect day. I was spending time with my kids, and that's my favorite pastime now, is time with my kids. I mean, I love the Maples, but my 3 kids are really where a lot of my joy in life comes from. So they get a lot of my attention these days. And for me, Red Panda it symbolizes that time with them. We were just having a perfect day together. And I was thinking about, what am I going to call this seedling? And here we're sitting there playing there at the Nature Center, and out walks this little red panda. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. I looked at that animal. Everybody's just having a day. And I'm like, that's the red panda. And so that's where the name kind of come from a little bit. And just love the plant. I do think the name added a lot to the hype. Like, people love red pandas. I think the red panda animal craze caught on at the same time. I mean, you could watch a lot of stuff talking about red pandas, and they kind of just caught this next level hype themselves, it seems like, and the plant benefited from it. But I love the plant. I always joke that it could never live up to the hype, because the hype train went, off the tracks on this one for sure. But it's an awesome plant. It definitely is worthwhile and worth getting in your collection. It's my favorite Makawa variant. Beautiful red spring displays. And I think it's the best red Makawa to date. We went through 20,000 Makawa seedlings that are structured like Makawa to pick this one out.
I always laugh, though, because we'll get those comments. We'll see those comments that people make. Well, I've got a Makawa seedling and it leafs out red. And until you actually see, and keep in mind, the only real red pandas are MrMaple red pandas. So if you see them out there in any other, you're not getting them from MrMaple. They're not red pandas. But these, to seeing the one that you allowed Brian Rule to test out, and I think the key with this is, man, he's got that in full sun in the ground, and going over there, seeing it in person, looking at the pictures. It is a next level red, and you've done it when we were in Oregon. We stopped at Anton Clemens' garden, and he showed off his, and even he's like, and he's one of those like
extreme collectors, and his words were, there was hype on this, but it lives up to that hype. Well, we hope so. I mean, it's a fun one. And it gets easier and easier to get every year. So we keep increasing the numbers on that one. Buckholz has allowed us to have a whole nother production facility. So we're able to get those numbers up on that one. But yeah, hype train through the roof, Red Panda, my number 2 tree. So if you own the t-shirt, you already know what number 1 is. I've said it a million times. Jim Putnam's asked me. I named this tree after my wife, kind of as a joke, but it caught on and got more popular. I didn't get canceled. I didn't get canceled for it. Not yet, at least. But number 1 is Acer Liviarum Hot Blonde. Probably the best tree we'll ever name, honestly. Love this plant. Just next level. It's an Acer Liviarum, puts on over a foot of growth a year. Heat tolerant. It's got that Acer Liviarum lineage. We think it's actually a hybrid with Shirasawanum now. Late to leaf out, so you have that cold tolerant factor there too, so it leafs out a little bit later than even Emperor 1 in my garden, which is one of the last trees to leaf, which is awesome because a lot of our frosts and stuff are gone by that point. Pink new growth over top of the yellow, fades to a light green in the summer on the older growth, yellows and pink new growth flushes over top of that. My favorite tree for fall color. Somebody said I was an ad. I was a paid ad. I was like, for myself, I can't pick my own tree as my favorite. Right. Somebody was like, there's shills. Like, shills for who, me? I was like, I named this. Yeah, I took the money from my one pocket and put it in the other to call this one. But I love the fall color on this one. I do think you'll be really amazed at the pink red hit this gets in the fall. Like, it is Osakazuki-esque. I think it even gets to another level of pink red than Osakazuki in the fall. And the people in hot climates have loved this one. We were down in Dallas last year. I had people growing this in full sun in Dallas singing its praises. And that tripped me out. We knew it was heat tolerant, but people have tested it even to the extreme.
Well, so my boy works here now, and of course, and he's been buying maples himself.
That's wild.
And he's getting into it and buying maple, and the heat seekers have really like grabbed his attention.
That's what he told you when you found him Googling hot blondes.
Right? That's what he told me. But he bought himself a hot blonde and a hot tamale, and he took them out. And so I'm kind of like, okay, well, you need to take care of these. You need to nurse these. So as a 17-year-old boy with a girlfriend and all that stuff, his mind gets elsewhere. So he has these still sitting in the nursery pot, sitting out in full sun, not a lick of burn, putting on crazy growth. Like I say, still sitting in the nursery pot, sitting in full sun, putting on awesome growth, not a lick of burn. And I'll just sit back and say, holy cannoli, that is freaking awesome.
There's something to be said about Acer livianum. It's got fun genetics. It's more durable. It's actually a maple from China. But for most folks, it looks just like a Japanese maple. But you kind of get that added advantage of being from a more hot region. I think this year Asawinum gave it the special sauce because it made it a little bit more cold tolerant. Gave it the yellow, made it leaf out later, gave it that pink blush to it. Just a perfect find. And it was just a seedling that we found. Again, I collected the seedling in a garden the same day we collected the Flying Daggers, just chance seedling. We originally started growing this from seed. We had about 30 to 40 that had some yellow. So there were a lot of Acer livianum. We'll grow several thousand seeds when we do. So we picked 30 to 40 of the yellows and put them together in an area. And I said, I think we're onto something here, Tim. There's some yellow going on here. Like we should make a selection of these. There's some nice yellows in here. So then we rate them, and then the top, the top rises up each time. And then eventually we got to a point where I was like, I think this is the very best of the group. I think I'm going to call it Hot Blonde. And I kind of chickened out a little bit. I was like, people are going to get offended by this name, Hot Blonde. It's not anything derogatory at all by any means, but it's just kind of a campy name. And I was like, it could be male or female. It doesn't say hot blonde lady. It could be whatever you want it to be really there. But it is for my wife. I told my wife I named this one after Amy. She's my hot blonde, so named the tree after her. And I kind of chickened out and I said, I think I'll call it Golden Ticket. And a friend of mine messaged me. We were going to release it at an open house, I think maybe in 2013 for the first time. Maybe, well, it had to be a little after that. It was early though, maybe 15. And he said, well, I already have a patented plant called Golden Ticket. If you could avoid that one, that'd be great. I was like, I'm sticking with Hot Blonde.
It was meant to be Hot Blonde.
Anybody that gets mad about it, it's a yellow tree. It's heat tolerant. It's the first of the Heat Seeker series. And just all around my favorite plant. I mean, I had a lot of interest in patenting this one. I probably should have patented it. I probably would have made a lot more money had I patented this. There was a lot of people that told me to patent it, that they would pay the royalties. Other nurserymen, they're like, I'll pay you $250 a plant to propagate that right now. And now that we're seeing it pop up. We saw it in Canada. You see it in Europe. You see it everywhere. I had a lot of interest in patenting it in Europe as well. We were so small when I come up with this one. Like I said, I think it was 2013 or 2015 when we first released it. We had so many trees and they're so fast growing that when we had several thousand propagated, I had to sell them. I had too much of my nursery tied up. And, if we had 2,000 of them, I couldn't wait 2 years on those to be in 10 gallons. Right. I mean, you can take a 1 gallon, put it in a 3 gallon, and it finishes 3 by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And so it gets out there quick. And I just had too many trees. I needed to sell them and make some money. So my real hot blonde was spinning it too quick. I had to get some revenue because we got married in 2015, and I was just starting to build a life, so we had to sell a few of those. We probably should have patented that one, to be fair. That one's one that I think there was enough interest and enough, it's special enough that we could have. But Hot Blonde, my number one choice. I think probably the best tree we'll ever name. Hey, I appreciate you jumping in here and doing this, your top 25. I know that, hey, I find it fascinating. You, especially you and Tim and like people like Brian, you guys have such a rich history with Japanese maples, with growing, and your experience. So it's fun for some of us who don't have that same level of experience to hear and see how you guys rank them, the way you view them from just outside of being a nurseryman and making them available, the ones that really attract you and pull you. So I appreciate you opening up and showing us, your list. Hey, always fun. We love talking about trees. If you love hearing us talk about trees, make sure to subscribe here on the MrMaple Show on your favorite podcast platform. Go give us a 5-star review out there. That helps other people find us. You can rate us on Google. That'd be great. And if you want to, go hop in those live chats. They happen on Sunday evenings under the YouTube channel. So we put the video component of these on YouTube every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. So fun time to hop in that live chat and see what people are discussing.
We appreciate it, y'all. Y'all take care.
God bless.
Have a great day.